Hello, people. Welcome to the Football Frame of Mind Time Machine. It's your boy Cam back with another episode of said Time Machine, right? So we've been going through the 70s decade. We already hit the 60s. So we're going through the 70s. The NFL merger is in full swing. We've seen teams be added, including the Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're going to continue through the year 1977, right? 1977 is a good year. We'll talk about the champion last, like we always do. But before we even get there, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Almost to 100 million in less than 2 years. We're like 500, less than 500,000 views to go till we get to 100 million. So thank you all for enjoying this type of content and supporting this content on all of our social media platforms, right? So to keep doing that, check the ticker below, right? We're everywhere. It's going to keep going throughout the whole video. But do me a solid and follow and subscribe to the Villain Sports Media page. A lot of good guys over there and girls doing some great work. So support them as well as we try to grow this network as well. So without further ado, hop in. Let's take a ride. So we gotta start. We gotta start with the MVP. As I mentioned, we'll do the champion last once we get to the standings and playoffs and all of that. So we'll get to the champion last. But we gotta talk about the MVP. MVP of the league was Walter Payton, right? Hella good season, bro. Hella good season. He ended up with 1,800 yards, man, 14 touchdowns, man, on a meaty 132 yards a game. Unstoppable, man. He also pitched in 2 touchdowns in the receiving game as well. But the Bears weren't that good. Man. They weren't that good, man. I mean, they were good, but not as good as they would become. Specifically on the defensive side of the ball, they weren't that good, right? And when you think about this particular time, they were almost a one-trick pony in a sense, right? To where we got this great running back and we just gonna ride him all the way to the playoffs. And that's exactly what they did, right? But they have a long way to go in terms of their defense. And of course, throughout the 80s, they would have one of the best defenses for at least about 5-6 years. So, playoff team, but definitely not a Super Bowl contender. So, but Walter Payton set them on a pace to be real good, right? He's one of the league's best running backs at this time, right? Coming off of a 1,300 season before, and right? He's gonna be on a nice little path, man. A nice little path, a nice run for a minute. Um, and when they start getting good, he start getting better, right? Because I would feel if I was Walter Payton going through these seasons, right? And we can take a look at it, right? Going through these seasons, 76, 77, right? 78, 79, right? We aren't there yet. We aren't there yet, right? And he has some, I'd say I think he had like seasons where he wasn't that good. But when Mike Ditka got there, that's when shit started changing. That's when shit started changing, bro. And he picked his play up after that. Like 80, 81. Once we got into like 81, 82, he started picking his play up, man. And he was 30 at the time. So that lets you know that he went full tilt on getting better because the team started getting better, you know? Obviously, 82 is a strike year, and we'll get into all of that. But he had some really good seasons, man. Really good seasons, you know. And the Bears had to go through the team of the 80s, during that time. So, uh, yeah, I had to go through the team of the 80s at the time. So, but nonetheless, man, you can't go wrong with Walter Payton as MVP, man. You can't go wrong with that, right? So, but I'm actually curious to see who else was in the running for MVP that year. So let's check out awards. So Bob Greasy finished second in MVP. Um, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 2,000 yards. So he was good. He was damn good, right? Lau Alzada finished there. Ray Guy even got some MVP votes, right? So Tom Jackson did as well. Ken Stabler did, right? So Craig Morton, right, doesn't get the love he deserves, man. He was pretty good, man. He's pretty good. Obviously, he was the quarterback before. Um, he was a quarterback before Roger Staubach. But when he got to Denver, that put them in a pretty good. They put them in a pretty good spot. Set them up and to be pretty good, man. And along with the Orange Crush defense, right? That was a good move for them. Good move for them. So that's interesting. So let's check out the rookie of the year, man. I think y'all have heard this name before. Tony Dorsett, man. So Tony Dorsett, second overall pick. Pretty good year if you think about it. Like I don't think you can have a better rookie season, Got 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, right? Contributed in the running game, and he wasn't even the starter all season. So that lets you know that he's one of the best. Most certainly one of the best. So, but what, Logan? So you look at his career, right? And Tony Dorsett should have been the second overall pick because he came into the league with some high distinction. Some high distinction. He came in the league with some high distinction, man. Winning the Heisman, finishing top 5 the year before, almost getting 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. He was absolutely unstoppable. Unstoppable, man, in college. And when you think about that, the Cowboys really needed a guy like that. Because from my point of view, just looking at the numbers, right? You look at the numbers for the Cowboys, right? and the Cowboys would the Cowboys would win a Super Bowl in 71, right? They would be pretty much in the picture after that, right? For a while, they would be in the picture. So, but after 71, right, when they won the Super Bowl, they had Dwayne Thomas, right? You had Dwayne Thomas on there, and he played really good. But due to some disputes with Tom Landry, it didn't work out. Sometimes you have to play ball when the head coach is also the GM. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta play ball. Coach asks you to do this, asks you to be a lead blocker, asks you to do this, that, and the third. Man, sometimes you gotta do it, and when you don't, and the coach says, "Oh well, I don't need you. We're gonna find us another running back." And that's exactly what they did. It took them a while to find that guy, right? I mean, Calvin Hill, I want to say, took them through 72, 73, 74, and played in, the World Football League in 75. But definitely not the guy. Not the guy, right? And, after that. But they needed a little bit more. And I could say that Tony Dorsett gave them a little bit more. And as we get into the season that the Cowboys had this particular year, you'll see what he gave them. But nonetheless, man, let's get into it, man. So, and not Andrew, but my boy Brandon, I think Andrew. I've seen something today, Andrew Schultz or something like that. I was watching him today. But my boy Brandon got to help me out because I don't really know how to pronounce this name. But AJ Dewey. I hope one of those is correct, man. But he did pretty good, man. LSU guy, Miami Dolphins, rookie of the year, 7 sacks, and had a pretty productive career. I don't think you can call him a bust because he actually played pretty well, including some defensive player of the year votes and a Pro Bowl. So you can't go wrong with that, right? Walter Payton also wins, he also wins Offensive Player of the Year because he was absolutely good. But the Cowboys had a Defensive Player of the Year as well. So Defensive Player of the Year is Harvey Martin. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, and Super Bowl MVP. He also has an All Pro to his credit. Technically, two of them, I have to say. Technically, two. But three, actually. So he had a good run. 14 sacks, 20 sacks in 77, 14 and a half, 78, 79, 80. Like he was one of the Cowboys' best defenders. So that's getting it done, right? So let's get into some stats, man. Let's get into some stats. So not the best year for quarterbacks in terms of like overall yardage is concerned, right? Because we're still in that era where running the ball or having balance is like the thing, you know. As you get into closer to 80s and things like that, you start to see the team start to focus on the forward pass a lot more. Like, let's attack these defenses instead of taking what they're giving us all the time. Let's be the aggressors on offense and let's go after these defenses, right? And then you start to see teams counteract that with defenses that attack the offense and force them to take what we're giving them. So it's a really good give and take, man. A really good pulley system when you look at the 80s in terms of offense, in terms of defense, man. The 80s was very competitive, man. There's a lot of good teams throughout that decade, and you start to see teams start to, attack more on both sides of the football, man. And special teams too. Some pretty good returners and stuff. Some Olympic level returners. So we'll get into that too, man. But for right now, let's talk about the passing leaders, man. So Joe Ferguson, who is one of the best quarterbacks in Buffalo Bills history, right? From what I've seen so far, he might be. Man, he might be. I think about the Bills quarterbacks right now. So I think Jim Kelly's the best Bills quarterback because even though he lost all of his Super Bowls, he still got to four of them. So I think he's the best. I think Josh Allen would be second. But in your top five, it's got to include this guy. Got to include this guy. I mean, in the 80s, 80s Buffalo got to the playoffs with him at the helm and then got to the playoffs again in 81. So, like, I'd say that's a pretty good quarterback, man, considering the fact that they weren't very good, even when they had OJ Simpson doing his thing, right? Right. So you got a lot, man. You got some interesting stuff going on there, right? But they also had some rough years um, with Joe Ferguson. But he's got to be on the top five list of Buffalo Bills quarterbacks. Like, tell me if I'm missing somebody. But I'm just going off of guys that got them to the playoffs, had a long extended career, and helped them, help them win and help them do some stuff. So I think he's got to be top five on their list of quarterbacks, man. They also changed their logo around this time too to what they got right now. So Burt Jones coming off an MVP season, kind of followed it up with a pretty good season in 77. This would kind of be the last season he had good a good season. That'd probably be the last season, man. And my boy Brandon told me that he had some injury issues as well because he's from LSU as well. But that's not a reason why he had injuries though. But Brandon is really tapped in with LSU history, man. So y'all do me a favor and subscribe to the Bayou Bengals Backers Show. I think that's what it's called. It's a long name, but it's an LSU centric show, man. So y'all follow that, man. If y'all really love the LSU Tigers, right? So y'all give that a look. But Brandon tapped in with Burt Jones, man. Really kind of turned me on to how good he was, right? Being an MVP and all. But since we're on that, this was kind of his last MVP level season. Although he had some success in the 80s, he had a pretty good season in 80 and 81. Um, but the team was pretty bad, man. The team itself was pretty bad. And that's just what happens sometimes, man. But he had a good season in 77, man. Roger Staubach, um, 35, but not really 35 because he served some time in the military, going to Navy and all. So he didn't have the greatest rise because Tom Landry was playing musical chairs a little bit. But he is a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP. But I want y'all to pay attention not just to the fact that he's top five in yardage, but pay attention to the efficiency. That's what I really want y'all to pay attention to. The efficiency. So 71, he was absolutely sensational. But you see what a running back does. A good running back can help you do, right? 71, Dwayne Thomas has 11 touchdowns, and that helped them win that Super Bowl in 71, right? After that, I don't know, I think it was injuries or whatever in 72, so that really was a wash, right? But 73, you can tell he's doing more, right? In terms of passing the ball, a lot of attempts, and he's being more aggressive with the football, right? And yeah, they had a running back, but not to the level of what Dwayne Thomas was giving you and what Tony Dorsett would give you in 77, right? So you see how turnovers are becoming an issue, right? And he's running the ball a lot. If you watch the show, I don't like my quarterback running, even if it's a skill set. I would like them to use that when they really need it, not as a means to create for bad offense, if that makes sense, right? So once you see how he looked with Tony Dorsett in the backfield, look at this. A complete flip in 77, a complete flip in terms of interception to touchdown ratio. The best in the league, you know, from one of the worst in the league to one of the best, right? Even in 70, 78, it looked pretty good, right? Don't have to run that much. He can, but he doesn't have to. Then 70, 78, 78, 79, right? Still good. So the addition of Tony Dorsett really helped almost extend his career in a sense. I feel like he could have played a lot longer, in my opinion. You know, I'm not sure why he retired so soon, but that right there, that introduction or addition to the Cowboys really helped him a lot. Like he turned not only into one of the best quarterbacks, which he was, one of the most exciting players, which he turned into a complete quarterback, man. And you love that shit. That's why Dorsett was so important because it also extended the Cowboys' reign too. Because without Tony Dorsett, I don't think they win in 70. I don't think they win this year, should I say. We haven't gotten to that. But I don't think that they're the champions this season without Tony Dorsett. And I don't think they go to as many Super Bowls as they did with Staubach and Tony Dorsett without Tony Dorsett. They have good offense anyway. Drew Pearson, Cliff Branch, and I mentioned the defense with Defensive Player of the Year this year, Martin and Randy White and Mel Renfro. They have really good players on defense. So Charlie Waters, I can't forget him. So they had can't forget Ed Too Tall Jones. Like, come on, man. One of the greatest football nicknames ever. But they have great players on defense. And that is really the driving force. But having the ability to counteract teams like the Dolphins with their running game, with the Bears and their running back, OJ Simpson with the Bills, and then Franco Harris and stuff like that. Having that ability to counteract what they do, knowing you have a good quarterback, and some of those teams didn't. You have to have that, and that's exactly what Tony Dorsett did, man. But let's not shout. Let's not act like Roger Staubach wasn't good though. He was good. But let's go down the list, man. So Jim Hart continuing to use, Eric Coryell, man, to the fullest extent. To the fullest extent. Right? Using that offensive mindset to where we're just going to attack every team through the air. I love that. And he's consistently been like in the top 10 in yardage. Like for real. I think Coryell took over in 73. Yep. And you can tell from 73 to I think Coryell left. Coryell left in 77. So from 73 to 77, Jim Hart is in the top 10 in yardage every year, right? So getting a whole bunch of passing, like a whole bunch of passing attempts, man, which is ungodly right now for this era. Like nobody's passing almost 400 times for real. Not really. It's not that common. Now people do, but not to this success at some point, right? And don't get me wrong, Don Coryell will have a better quarterback that he can really mold like this once we start getting into the 80s. But right now he's got Jim Hart, and Jim Hart's playing the best he can play. And the Cardinals of St. Louis at this time are playoff contenders, right? They are like Super Bowl contenders, but you got to have that balance. You got to have that balance. And that's what kind of hurt Coryell when he went to San Diego. They didn't have no balance, right? They had good offensive players, bro. They had so many good players on there, but they had no balance for real. And you'll get beat by teams that do in the playoffs, right? So it just happens like that. Just happens like that, man. But Jim Hart's still one of the best quarterbacks of the 70s. So Bob Greasy, Brian Greasy's daddy, um, finished as an All Pro and had one of the best seasons, one of his best seasons as a quarterback, man. I mean, he just like when you think about him, you're probably like, well, that's not the greatest, that's not the greatest quarterback stats you ever seen, right? But one thing you can't say is you can't say that he isn't one of the best quarterbacks, especially in his era, because he got two Super Bowls, he got a lot of Pro Bowls, and he did exactly what the team needed him to do, right? When you have such a dominant running game and such a good defense, right? As a quarterback, you shouldn't want to do that much. You should just want to keep matriculating the ball down the field, right? Just keep moving the chains. Let's keep using this run game. Let's keep dominating teams, right? Let's get to 200 yards of total rush yards in a game, right? Because they can't stop us. And our defense is so good that they can't move the ball on us either. If I'm Bob Greasy, this is the perfect system for me. I don't have to do much. Yeah, I can throw to Paul Warfield and I can throw to other guys out of the backfield. I can do all of this, right? But I don't have to as long as we keep winning games. I don't have to do that much. And that's exactly what he did, man. And like, yeah, you can categorize him as a game manager, but shit, so was Tom Brady, and he got a bunch of Super Bowls, right? Like when you are not a game manager and you're doing the most at quarterback, including turning the ball over, guess what? You're gonna lose a lot of games. You're probably gonna lose your starting spot, and you become uncoachable, right? So you have to be able to do things that help your team win. And that is what Bob Greasy did over the course of his career. Didn't have the flashiest numbers, but damn it, he got two all pros though. And he looked good doing it too, man. Smooth as hell. Smooth as hell, man. So he did what he was supposed to do. And he kept had a good completion percentage too for this time. It worked out, and they won a lot of ball games, man. Don Shula didn't get 300 wins just for the fuck of it. They won a lot of ball games, and Miami was always in the picture, right? Of course, you have ups and downs and stuff like that, but they weren't down for long, never. So, like I said, man, shout out to Bob Greasy, man, for real. Obviously Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw was such a gunslinger, man. I think he should have been like one of the first. But he's also a guy that you can look at and say that you don't have to do that much. But he's got so many weapons to play with. He's like a kid in a candy store. Like, oh, I want this. oh, I want this, or I'm gonna throw this, I'm gonna throw this, or I'm gonna get a ball to Franco, I'm gonna get a ball to Rocky Blyer, man. I'm gonna throw this ball to Lynn Swan. I'm gonna throw this ball to John Stallworth, man. Shit, I throw it to myself because I'm that good too, right? So he's got so much to play with on offense, man. So when I see him have like a lot of interceptions and stuff, I just think dude having a fucking ball. And it's just like, all right, you know, I don't think it's because like, oh, he's just a bad quarterback. Nah. I just think he's having so much fun. And if you look at Terry Bradshaw now, right, he looked like a dude that just like to have fun, right? If you see him on Fox, like to this day, right? How old is Terry Bradshaw right now? Terry Bradshaw is, what is that, 77 right now. And he's still having fun at 77, right? And don't get me wrong, it's easy to have fun when you're a four-time Super Bowl champion, an MVP, and a two-time Super Bowl MVP, right? It's easy to have fun when you done did all of that, right? And he's a gold jacket member. So let's not forget he was damn good too. But I just think he had a lot of fun, man. And in the course of having fun, the Steelers won a whole lot of ball games. So let's not forget that either. Because that's really what it's about when you're playing at this level, right? You gotta win some ball games, or they're gonna find somebody that can. So um so shout out to Terry Bradshaw, Bob Greasy, all them guys, man. But as we move forward, there's some interesting names that are still doing some good work, right? So Ken Anderson, right, would begin to slow down a little bit after the departure of Bill Walsh. I've been saying it for the last few episodes. Having Bill Walsh when he did really helped him become one of the best quarterbacks, and he wouldn't return to that level until the 80s, right? So it hurt him a lot, but he's still there. Ron Jaworski, who we call Jaws, right? Uh, began his run of being the man in Philly, right? So for a while, Ron Jaworski was the man, all right, and then you get Randall Cunningham, he was the man, right? But before Jaws, it was Norm Van Brocklin, and it was Sonny Jurgensen for a time. And then we get into this phase right now, right? And I can't forget Roman Gabriel because he had his last few years in the league. He was with Philly as well. So they've had really good quarterbacks come through Philadelphia, right? Including some championships because Norm Van Brocklin got a couple of NFL championships. I don't know if Sonny Jurgensen did, but I know they was in the mix. And then you get into Ron Jaworski and then Roman Gabriel. Those teams were respectable, um, right? And Warren Jaworski really was good. He was really good, right? Including the year prior with the Rams, because the Rams made it all the way to the championship with their number 3 defense in the league, right? Made it all the way to the championship NFC title game, right? So he was good, right? And what's the craziest part about this whole season for Ron Jaworski, the 1976 season, was the fact that he wasn't starting. He wasn't the starter for them, but he was the starter in the playoffs, right? He was the starter in the playoffs, though. So that whole run that they had within the playoffs was because of him. I mean, he took down the who was that? Who was that? Who was that? Was it Pat Hayden? Yeah, so Pat Hayden was in there. But I want to say he did do that too. He played a little bit. Did he play a little bit? No, he ain't play that man. God damn. What year did he play real good? Because if it wasn't 76, it had to be 75. Because I know he played like a little bit. Like one time he played in the playoffs. I'm trying to think. What year was that? There we go. So it was 75, not 76. But 75, he started in the playoffs, right? And got them all the way to the title game, NFC title game again. But you can't depend on a quarterback that young, right? You can't do that. You can't depend on Ron Jaworski, who's in year 2, to help you beat the Cowboys, right? That are really good at the time, right? So had to remember that, right? Gotta be, you want to be correct sometimes, man. But he starts his run in Philly, and obviously not the best, not the best. But this is also Dick Vermeil's second season there, right? So they're building to what would ultimately become a Super Bowl opportunity in 1980, right? So they're building their team right now to capture the Lombardi Trophy, right? So right now it's not looking too pretty, but best believe they were playing some defense, right? Offensively, they were just trying to get there. That's all. But Ken Stabler, MVP of the league, still the Raiders are still good. He got some MVP votes this season too. Mentioned Ken Anderson. We mentioned Richard Todd being the top draft pick from Alabama with the Jets. They are looking to replace Joe Namath at this particular time because Joe Namath is still on the team, but this would be his last season, I believe. 76. Yeah, this would be his last season with the Jets before he goes to the Rams and then his career is over. So the Jets tried to get a jump on finding the next quarterback for them in their future. And Richard Todd, you could say he was a bust, but I don't think so. I think he played too long, and he actually had some good seasons, right? One or two, but he had some good seasons, right? So I think after you play a long time as an underachieving like first round pick or whatever, I think that label shreds away, and you just become a journeyman, right? Which isn't that bad. I think of guys like Kwame Brown, right? Top draft pick, first overall, right? Never really reached what expectations people had for him, right? But I think if you talk to him, right, and he doesn't shy away from anything, I think he would say that he fulfilled his expectations for himself, right? Being a top draft pick, right? Richard Todd was that, right? Getting to play at the next level. Richard Todd, Kwame Brown did that, right? Didn't obviously win no championships. Neither of them did that, but they had a long career and their families are taken care of forever, damn near. So I think that is what Richard Todd became. Michigan became a journeyman. That's all. And ain't nothing wrong with that. He had a long career, and that's it, man. Now, did the Jets expect more? Of course. Did the Washington Wizards expect more from Kwame Brown? Yes, they did. But the Jets definitely expected more. But hey, you work with what you got sometimes, man. And that's what happened, right? So we got Jim Zorn, who's in year 2 of the expansion Seattle Seahawks. Didn't really work that much. Didn't work that much. They still working the kinks out of it, but they are better than Tampa Bay. That's for sure. They way better than what Tampa Bay was offering to their fan base at the time. So Pat Hayden, um, as I mentioned in the last video, he is the athletic director, or he would become the athletic director for USC, and he had a good season. He had a real good season, man. Let me see what Pat Hayden did, man, because Pat Hayden had a pretty good run, man. So 77 was probably the best season as a quarterback of the Rams. And well, not seven, well, 77, but 78 was pretty good, especially they let him throw the ball around a lot more. But I have to mention this. This is the last season of the This is the last season of the 14 game regular season before they go to 16 the next season. So the playoffs, the playoff teams are going to be expanded a little bit, but you start to get more modernized to what we were used to for so long, right? As we get into like the 2020s and things like that, we'll talk about the season expanding and shit like that and what that really means, in my opinion. But going from 14 to 16, um, I don't know, man. We'll get into that on the next video, but because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. But we'll get into that as we get into the next video. But Pat Hayden um, got the 77, so the Rams made the playoffs again, right? They also made it in 76. And then they just keep going. They made the playoffs again, but they just had something missing. Something missing, man. And when you think about those teams that they had to go against, the NFC was rough, man. Rough. If you didn't have the running backs or the quarterback combination, you weren't going to win because you had to go through Fran Tarkenton and Minnesota, who had him and Chuck Furman or Foreman. Um, then you got the Cardinals with Air Coryell and their offensive genius. Let's see who else was in there, man. You had some good ass teams in there, man. You got Dallas with Starback and now Tony Dorsett, right? So you got them. Um, let's see who else was pretty good in the NFC, man. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. Actually, you know what? We can do that now. We can do that now. So, so in NFC, man. So, like I mentioned, you got to go through Dallas, right? You got to go through Washington, right? They're good. You got to go through Minnesota. They're good. Chicago now has um, Sweetness, Walter Payton, so they're good, right? You got the Falcons, who aren't the best team, but they got a lot of star power on that particular team, man. And like I said, that first overall pick, Steve Barkowski, right? He's setting the tone now. And then guys, you got guys on their defense. I don't know if Nubis is still there. I don't think so. I don't think Nubis is still there. Let me see something real quick. Nubis. Tommy Nubis. Oh, so he retired the year prior. Okay, so he retired in 76, right? But this was I want to say he was their first pick ever. Like he was the first pick of the Atlanta Falcons ever. Yep, Mr. Falcon. Yep, so he was really good. Really, really good, man. Um, so I had to think about that. But they also have Barkowski at quarterback and they got Claude Humphrey at defensive end, right? So he's good. So you had to go through a lot in the NFC, right? To really try to go to the Super Bowl, only to get beat by the Steelers. Oh, like I'm sorry, I say it every video for the last 3 or 4 that if you are good enough to make it to the Super Bowl, that's honestly where your season is going to end because the Steelers were OP, the Raiders were OP, right? The Dolphins were OP for a time, right? So like it's rough to do that. Denver had a good defense at this time with the Orange Crush guys, right? So you had to go through a lot to get there, right? And just in case you did, you still, if you weren't a complete team, you had to go through Dallas in the NFC, in my opinion. I think that's the best team in the NFC, period, right? And now that they got Tony Dorsett, they really loaded now. So, like, you had to go through them, and they were good. And the Vikings were good too. So they actually were maybe the better team because in the 70s they went to more Super Bowls, I want to say, than the Cowboys did. So um so there you go, man. There you go. There you go. So but let's get back to it. I just wanted to see that real quick, man. So let's get into Russian. I think everybody knows the Russian title went to Walter Payton. Uh he was cold. He was cold, man. But let's talk about some other guys. Sam Bam Cunningham, USC, right? Um, don't let nobody tell you, but he was kind of important to integrating SEC football. I'm gonna just let you know. After he put that whooping on Alabama at Legion Field, they start saying, "Hey, we need some of him." And not shortly after that, the SEC became integrated. Let's just say that. So he was very important to college football, man. And he had a pretty good NFL career too. Really did. Really did, man. I would say he started well, I wouldn't say he started it. I say Mike Garrett started the run of USC becoming like running back U. Um, but because Mike Garrett won the Heisman and then he came out. And then yeah, he came out. Yeah, so Mike Garrett won the Heisman. Let me see. Like I said, this is a football thing, so it's a time machine. We're going back in time, right? So Mike Garrett won the Heisman. Yeah, so Mike Garrett, was he 65? Yeah, so Mike Garrett won the Heisman in 65, right? And then Sam Bam Cunningham. Um, no, OJ was next. OJ was next. Yeah, OJ was the next dude, the next big running back, and that was, that was 60 because he OJ went to like junior college at first, and then he came back. He no, not came back, but then he transferred to USC, and they won a national title, and he won the Heisman. So it goes Mike Garrett, and then OJ, and then after that, I think it was Sam Bam Cunningham. I think that was the next dude. They had Clarence Davis too, but he wasn't Sam though. He wasn't Sam Cunningham. Yeah, yeah. So that's 73. And then after that, because Mike Garrett won the Heisman. Obviously, Sam Bam Cunningham was good. OJ was good. And then I think it was Marcus Allen. I think he was the next big guy. It's either him or the next big guy. Was it Marcus Allen or was it Ricky Bell? I think it's Ricky Bell. Yeah, Ricky Bell's right here. Anthony Davis. So he was pretty good too, because he's an All American. So I'm just finding out all kind of dudes in here, man. So Anthony Davis, and then Ricky Bell comes out in 77. He's the first overall pick. And then the next big guy, like powerhouse name, was it? Because, like I said, this is 76. This is all Ricky Bell. So the next guy is Charles White. So that's 77. the year after Ricky Bell leaves. So that's Charles White who wins the Heisman as well, right? And then it's Marcus Allen. Yeah, then it's Marcus Allen. Yeah, it's Charles White and then Marcus Allen. Yeah, because Marcus Allen was backing him up and he played defense too. Yeah, so Charles White wins the Heisman in '79. So he's the next big guy. And then Marcus Allen wins. Marcus Allen starts his run and then he just runs for 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns and wins the Heisman in 1981. So, yeah. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah. So when I say that USC's like number like they're definitely they're definitely number they're definitely number one when it comes to yeah, they're definitely number one when it comes to like running back you, right? At this particular time. Just look at all the guys that they had, so uh, that's not what I want. I'll figure this out, man. Let's just go here. Let's just go there. So, like I said, we're back in 77. So let's go back to the Russian. So like I said, Lawrence McCutcheon, is really good as well. Mike Thomas is good, right? Wilbur Jackson is still pretty good. Terry Metcalf is pretty good. He has some good runs. He played in Canada for a while too. Um, let's see. So let's see some other names on here. OJ is 30, and we all know how running backs get when they turn 30. He's getting that wear and tear on him. So this is his last season in Buffalo before he's traded to San Francisco, and that didn't really do much. San Francisco wasn't that good either. So Archie Griffin is another good running back. Um, yeah, he's another good running back, man. He just, like I said in the last video, he was just small for the size of running backs that were coming out, right? But I felt like today he would be one of the best running backs, like ever, because it don't matter what size you are. It's more about your production. Can you pass block, right? Can you help us in the passing game? It don't matter what size you are, to be honest with you. And the fact that he is a little guy actually might have helped him in this era because he can line up in the slot because he was way more shiftier than any linebacker we got right now. Right. And don't get me wrong, linebacker play today is probably the best it's ever been because you have to be faster. But Archie Griffin was too damn slick for that. But they wasn't thinking that. And I felt like because he came to the Bengals so late in the Bill Walsh era, and Bill Walsh really didn't have the biggest say so yet. I felt like Bill Walsh might have been able to use him a little bit better because you think about how he used Roger Craig. You can't tell me that Archie Griffin wasn't that talented too. I think he would have really been able to use Archie Griffin exactly how he wanted to and been able to succeed with him. Because if you think about Archie Griffin, let's check it out, right? So Archie Griffin career didn't last that long. And it's not fair because he should have. You don't draft a guy 24th overall just to be like, oh ho hum, we just got the Heisman winner. Like, bro, he got two Heisman. Ain't nobody done that shit yet. So you can't sit there and tell me that if Bill Walsh would have had more time with him, I think they could have figured some shit out. So that's just what it be, bro. That's just what it be. I just think if Bill Walsh would have had some more time with him, I think I think he would have turned him into one of the best dual threat running backs in NFL history. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But um, you know, I think he made the best out of it. I just think it's just unfair that they didn't use him the right way. So Larry Zonka's still in there. I'm trying to see some names. Jim Otis. I feel like I've seen that name a lot. Yeah, he had 1,000 yard season in '75. Like I said, Michael Strahan. I was like, yo, what? Michael Strahan? Like he didn't even play that back then. Let's see. John Riggins. Yeah, John Riggins. Um, didn't have the best season in '77, but he about to kick that shit into gear in '78 though. And when you get to the '80s, it's a wrap. He one of the best running backs in the '80s, flat out. So, like I said, he's starting to kick. He gonna kick it into gear, but '77 wasn't the best year for him, man. So, Terry Bradshaw in there, 171. All right, let's get into some passing, man. It ain't too much to talk about in receiving, for real. Like your best receiver of the year was Drew Pearson. He's an All-Pro, 2 touchdowns, right? He didn't really do that much, man. So for me, I want to look at yards per reception. That's what I want to look at. So Wesley Walker led the league in yards per reception, man. 21 and then 78, he had an even better season. So he was pretty good. 8,000 receiving yards in his career, 71 touchdowns, man. So he has some pretty good years, man. All with the Jets too. So he's a Jet lifer. Um, he's 70 years old now. So he turned out to be pretty good. So look at touchdowns too. So Nat Moore from the Dolphins had 12 touchdowns in '77. So he was an All Pro. So that's AFC All Pro. Steve Largent had 10 touchdowns. John Stallworth had 7. Lynn Swan had 7. Harold Carmichael had 7. Charlie Joyner, who is now on the San Diego Chargers. So he's about to kick it into gear as we get into the '80s as well. So that should be fun to see. Dave Casper being one of the greatest tight ends of his era. Jerome Barkham, I ain't never heard that name before. So '73, he was a Pro Bowler, 800 yards. That's pretty cool. He set around 400 yards for his career, so that's cool. 40 touchdowns. So yeah, and he was with the Jets the whole time too. So that's pretty cool. I like when people stay with the team. How about Daryl Stingley? Derek Stingley's grand granddad. Granddad. I think I said dad in the last video, but granddad. That's crazy. That's crazy. Dude got a football family, man. That's wild, bro. Derek Stingley Jr., bro. His granddad, man, was serving up ass whoopings in 1977, bro. That's crazy, bro. He was getting it in. That's crazy. And then his grandson, man, is like one of the best corners in the game right now. Although Houston is winless right now, bro. Derek Stingley ain't the reason why. That's for sure. That's what's up, man. I love that shit. That's cool. I think, like I said, I said dad last time. I was like, nah. I'm glad I got clarified on that one. So he's grandson. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. So not too much to talk about in terms of receiving yards because ain't nobody did nothing. Although Lydell Mitchell though did lead the league in receptions though with 71. He's done that twice in his career at this point. So he had a good run too. 3 Pro Bowls in a row, 3 Pro Bowl seasons in a row. Back when the Pro Bowl actually meant something. It don't mean shit right now. But let's get into some defense, man. Let's see what some defense is going here, man. So interception, let's start there. So interception was Lyle Blackwood. So Lyle Blackwood was a 9th round pick. So for you youngsters out there, the NFL draft was like 15 rounds back in the day, bro. Maybe even more than that. They was just picking players and stockpiling players and everything. So yeah. So what's funny is I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Daryl LaMonica or George Blanda, but one of them was with the Steelers in the 50s, and they didn't play much at all. And then when the AFL started, one of them became one of the best players. And actually, they both became pretty good. But whoever was on the Steelers was balling out in the AFL. Like it just gave them an opportunity to just ball the fuck out. So that's what I like. I like shit like that, man. So Lyle Blackwood, man, 9th round pick, 73. Put it all together in 77, man. Got his opportunity, right? So he'd be like Ryan Clark right now, bro. Like, well, not right now, but he'd be like Ryan Clark per se in today's game or when he played. Like, cause he's in the 9th round, so technically he not drafted in today's era. So he'd be an undrafted dude getting your opportunity and then balling the fuck out, right? And that's what it is. Like he balled the fuck out. 10 interceptions, you get voted as an All Pro, um, second teamer, and then had a pretty good career after that. Like he had a pretty good career, man. Once he got to 10, he was like, I'm set. I'm set, man. I'm good. Let me just ball the fuck out, man. I'm good. He just kept getting interceptions, man. He ended up with 35. So that's pretty good. He's 74 years old now. TCU guy. He drafted by the Broncos and shit. So wait, he was drafted by the Broncos, but never played and got picked up by Seattle in their expansion year. Didn't really play. Um, Played in Cincinnati, but not that much. Really got a chance to shine with Baltimore though. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that shit. Let's see. So who on the list? Herman Edwards, man. Shout out to Herman Edwards, man. Okay. So Herman Edwards was a defensive back. He's a corner for Philly. Got to a Super Bowl in 1980. Um, and pretty good player, man. Pretty good, dog. Pretty good player, man. Um, and to be an undrafted guy and to have these numbers, he's one of the best undrafted players ever. So he wasn't drafted by Philly, but got 6 interceptions in year one. Baller. Shout out to Herman Edwards doing his motherfucking thing, man. And it turned out to be a pretty good coach too, man. Pretty good coach. Once he stopped playing, offensive assistant, um, San Jose State. So he went back to Cali. He was a scout in the 90s with Kansas City. I wonder if that was Marty Ball. Yep, that was Marty Ball. Uh, Hold up. Speaking of Marty Ball, when did he start coaching? When he started coming onto the scene? 77. So he's with New York. Yeah, he was with New York. He was a linebackers coach. And then he was the defensive coordinator in 77. Okay, so who was coaching in 77? John McVay. Okay, then Marty Schottenheimer was the defensive coordinator in 77. Okay. And then, because I want to talk about Marty Schottenheimer for real. So Marty Schottenheimer then was a linebacker coach with Detroit, and then defensive coordinator with the Browns, and then became the head coach of the Browns all the way into '88, right? And then went to the Chiefs in the '90s, and then got the head coaching job with Washington for like a year. He didn't last that long. They had a really, really good run with the Chargers where they should have got a Super Bowl. And then UFL. Okay, so yeah. Most definitely, I like that. But I only did that because I wanted to see who was the coach. But back to Herman Edwards. Herman Edwards, let's see, scout defensive back coach with the Chiefs in the '90s, and then joined Tony Dungy's staff uh, in 96, and then got the head coaching job with the Jets, and they had a good run too. Um, and then the Chiefs started good. The Chiefs run started good, and then it got bad. It got bad, man. I don't know what happened, but the Chiefs run started bad, and then he came back 10 years later after like spending some years on ESPN, which he was very good on ESPN. Man, he brought an old school perspective to what the players really felt back then, right? Instead of this young hip shit that they be talking about now, he's like, nah, y'all got it good. And I love that shit. It's not like, man, well, y'all got it too easy, right? It's more like y'all should care more because y'all got it easier. That's what I felt his stance was. And I like that shit. I liked him on ESPN. And he at Arizona State. He coached Jaden Daniels, I want to say, for a little bit before he went to LSU and shit. He was good. He was good there. Didn't end well because of like some illegal shit they was doing, but shit, everybody doing illegal shit nowadays in recruiting. So what gives? You know what I'm saying? Like who gives a shit now? But they gave a shit then. So, but I like this run. I like them coming back, man, because he gave a lot of NFL coaches or former NFL coaches opportunities and shit, man. So that's pretty good, man. So shout out to Herman Edwards, man, doing his thing. Got a lot of interceptions, man. Mike Haynes, top pick. Ken Houston, top pick. That's good. Jack Ham still doing his thing. Mike McCoy, is that the other? No, that's not Mike McCoy. My bad. Rest in peace, Mike McCoy. But that's not the one I was talking about. Tom Jackson doing his thing. So yeah. So sack leader, man. Harvey Martin with 20 of them things, man. Cleveland Elam, 49ers. The 49ers had some good ass pass rushers, man. Because it's not the first time I've seen somebody up there with like 15 or more. Leroy Selman, Mr. Buccaneer, did his thing. Um, let's see. Jack Youngblood, Claude Humphrey, another All Pro Bowl season. John Matuzak, he ended up with 9. Lyle Alizada finished second in defensive player voting and got an All Pro. Charlie Johnson, as a nose tackle, got 7 tackles, so he was doing work. Let's see, Fred Too Tall Jones, man. Yeah, so I had some good years. So, all right, so we're running a little long on this video, man. But I had to talk about some guys because I was just curious about certain people when they get their job. So, let's talk about the standings, man. Let's look at the standings. So, the Colts win the AFC East, the Steelers, and sort of a down year for them. End up winning the Central, right? But it was a dogfight, man. The Bengals was in it, Houston was in it, Cleveland was really in it for a little bit too. So, but Denver wins the West, and Oakland is a wild card team representing the AFC West, right? So the Cowboys win the NFC East by a pretty substantial margin. Washington's in it, but Chicago makes it over them. And the Vikings win the Central, and the Rams pretty much win the NFC West, man. So let's see who the worst team is. The worst team is Kansas City and Tampa Bay. So before we get into the playoffs, I need to see who they pick next year. So Houston gets the first overall pick in the draft. Why? Were they bad like that? Nah, so they must have made a trade or something. Let's just say it worked out for them the next year. But let's get into the playoffs, man. So let's get into the playoffs real quick. So December 24th, 1977. We're in the playoffs, man. And we're going to start with Oakland. Oakland wins in overtime against the Baltimore Colts, man. So, this was a classic, bro. It's a classic, man. So you got the Raiders scoring a rushing touchdown in the first, and then all hell breaks loose after that, man. All hell breaks loose. So, second quarter, the Colts get two scores going to halftime up 10-7, right? That's a good move, right? But this game ain't over. Check this out. So, Dave Casper catches a touchdown pass from Ken Stabler. Then the Colts get a kickoff return. And then Dave Casper catches another touchdown pass from Ken Stabler, taking the lead back from the Colts. That's all in the third quarter. The fourth quarter is even better. The Colts get a rushing touchdown, and then the Raiders get a rushing touchdown. Lead going back and forth, right? The Colts take the lead again with a 13-yard rushing touchdown, and then the Raiders kick a field goal to tie it up. And then we go into overtime. And then that is when Dave Casper catches a 10-yard pass from Ken Stabler, and that is the winner right there. So no overtime rules. This is sudden death. So there you go. Ken Stabler had one of the best playoff games you could have, man. 3 touchdowns, couple interceptions, man. But he got a lot of help from the running game, right? Burt Jones had a pretty good game too, but I don't know what happened. But I would have loved to see him be a little bit more aggressive, especially the fact that Ken Stabler had 40 attempts. I love to see what Burt Jones would have did with 40 attempts, man. But nonetheless, this was a classic game, bro. Classic game, man. John Madden still coaching the Raiders. This is his second to last season before he, turns into who he would ultimately be known as, a commentator, broadcaster, man, media phenomenon. Like I think John Madden is more known for what he did in the booth than what he did on the football field. But let's not be honest. Let's not forget that John Madden's career on the football field as a coach is really what opened that door for him. So let's not forget that, man. He's a legend, man. It's just really, really sad he's not here with us right now, bro. Like that sucks, man. But let's get into Pittsburgh and Denver. Pittsburgh and Denver, man. Pittsburgh had a little bit of a down season. And Denver took advantage of that, man. Denver was really good on defense. What? What, little boy? Go on. Go on. Get out of here. Nothing. Nothing. So what was that? Denver had a really good season this year, man. Top 10 in offense, top 3 in defense, man. They were really, really doing a thug thizzle, man. So they capitalized on that shit, man. They did. Craig Morton was good. A couple touchdown passes, man. Franco Harris continuing to do his, you know, his same song and dance. He gave him 92, not 100. Terry Bradshaw, but Terry Bradshaw was inaccurate, man. Craig Morton was accurate. He got a couple touchdown passes, and they did their thing. They did their thing, bro. Tom Jackson had 2 interceptions. That is the Tom Jackson that is on ESPN right now, thanks to them actually wanting to do some shit the right way. But him and Chris Berman were legends together. But he was a legend on the football field, bro. And 2 interceptions in a playoff game, bro. That set it up, man. So but Denver does Denver things, man, and they get it done. They get it done. Dallas takes care of Walter Payton because that's literally all it was. That's all it was for the Chicago Bears at this particular time, man. They made them work for that 60, man. They made them work. But Tony Dorsett, man, rookie season, man, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he did his thing, man. But this is what you call an ass whooping. So Minnesota, Minnesota and the Rams just have this dog fight, man. That's what this was. Chuck Foreman runs for a touchdown, and he's been a pretty good running back to this point, man. He's been good. 77 was his last real impact season. But he still did his thing, man. He did his thing, man. He's a Pro Bowler, All Pro, one of the best Vikings ever. Sammy Johnson runs again, and they do this thing, but they both had good defenses, man. They both had good defenses. Like Minnesota still got the purple people eaters, so it ain't like even though they finished, middle of the pack in defense, they still got a lot of dudes on there, including who was it? Alan Page, Carl Eller, Paul Krause is still there at this point, so they still got a good defense, man. And they fought this game to tooth and nail. But the Rams got a top 2 defense in the league, man. So they just missing some offense. That's pretty much it. Just missing some offense, man. And they couldn't do nothing. But let's get to the next game, man. So NFC Championship weekend. January 1st, 1978. Let's get it. So Dallas takes care of Minnesota. Like I said, they just didn't have no offense for this, man. Didn't have no offense. Bud Grant is still there. He would continue to be the coach until 1985. But this is one of the better seasons he might have within this stretch, man. Just ran out of time, bro. Just ran out of time, man. But to say his success in the 70s should be ignored, I don't think so. They had some good teams. They just didn't have enough offense, man. That's all. But Dallas had the defense, man. And like I said, Tony Dorsett providing that balance. And Roger Staubach doing his thing, man. So they just kept doing it. Drew Pearson had 62. Ahmad Rashad, if you know that name from NBA circles, he had 18 yards. But like I said, man, you ain't really got nothing, man. Because now, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Fran Tarkenton is not. He's retired now. Okay, so he'll give you one more year. And he was pretty good, but that will be his last year. So he only got a couple more years left. But they didn't have him in this game, so they went with the backup. And sometimes that's why you're a backup, man. But Denver, man, shout out to Denver, bro. Red Miller. I don't know why. I don't know why he left. Why he leave Denver? What, to go to the USFL? Don't tell me that's why you left. I get it. The USFL is supposed to be fun and shit like that, but that just wasn't gonna work, man. That just wasn't gonna work. I'm sorry, that just wasn't gonna work, bro. Especially when you try to like go against the NFL, bro. Like you just can't. Like can't do that. But Denver Broncos take care of business. Oakland Raiders. This is another classic, man. Shit. The Raiders was putting on classics this playoffs, man. They almost pulled it away. They almost pulled away with this one, man. Which would have been fun to see them go to the Super Bowl against Dallas. That would have been a nice Super Bowl. But nonetheless, the Denver Broncos pull it out 20-17. They play this game at home, so it's outside at Mile High Stadium. And they do their thing, man. Craig Morton had a pretty good game. Um, Seemed like everybody pitched in with the run against with this team. Um, they played some good football, man. They played some good football. To keep the Raiders at 17 points is pretty good considering all the weapons that they have on offense. So that's pretty good. So let's get into the next game, man. So we got Super Bowl 12. Yeah, Super Bowl 12. Super Bowl 12 played January 15, 1978. Should be a good game. Let's check it out, right? So Tom Landry, legend, going against Red Miller. This game is played in what would become one of the more iconic stadiums in the world. The modern marvel at this particular time, the Louisiana Superdome. This is played. This is the first Super Bowl ever played in New Orleans in the Superdome, which was built 2 years prior. Yeah, 2 years prior to this. So one of the best stadiums, one of the best constructions of a stadium like ever, right? Obviously, let me see something real quick. I want to see something. So I want to see the Astrodome. Astrodome was built in 65. Okay. All right, cool. I was just curious which dome stadium was the first. But the Astrodome was the first like modern marble stadium, right? Dome, all of that, right? But next, right here, Superdome. That was the next one, man. I mean, Superdomes held so many big events, boxing matches, obviously Super Bowls. Shit, I want to say they had like a Final Four at one point too. Um, Concerts, all kind of shit just played at the Superdome, bro. So like it was the shit, bro. Like that was the spot to be. But Super Bowl 12 is the first Super Bowl played in the Superdome after years of playing Super Bowls at Tulane Stadium. Um, this is it, man. This is it. So we get into the game. The Cowboys jump out to a 13-0 lead, and they just had too much. Now, I gotta say this though. This is kind of a revenge game for revenge game for Craig Morton, who was the quarterback of the Cowboys throughout the late 60s into the early 70s before Roger Staubach got there. Now, he's with Denver and he has a little bit of a career resurgence of sorts. And he looking to show like, hey, I was the one, right? I was the one, right? But it didn't really work like that. It didn't really work like that. And Dallas put on a show. Dallas put on a show, man. They get out to a 13-0 lead, man, and that's halftime for you. But it wouldn't be football if the Broncos didn't fight back. And they tried to. It's just when you think about Dallas, man, you're not gonna do what you think you're gonna do, man. And they held them to 156 yards the entire game, bro. Shut it down. Shut down mode, bro. Craig Morton couldn't do anything. In fact, he couldn't do anything. 4 interceptions, to be quite frank. Nothing. They went to the backup, and it seemed like he had a little bit more success than that, man. But this was an ass whooping, and Dallas wins their second Super Bowl of the '70s, and this sets up a classic matchup for what team would become the team of the '70s, right? Because I believe the Steelers only have two championships at this time. That's back to back. That's '74 and '75, I believe. Because the Raiders won in '76, the Cowboys won in '77. But the Steelers pick up two more, which makes them the team of the '70s. But at this point, the Cowboys is even, and the Steelers are even, and the Dolphins are even because they have two. So sets up a clash that would be either the next Super Bowl or the Super Bowl after that. I'm not sure, but definitely a classic. So nonetheless, man, that is your champion of the 1977 season. We're gonna do 78 next, and that is a very fun game, of a fun season, should I say, man. So let's check out something real quick. Let's check out the draft real quick, man. I really want to see. So Ricky Bell went first overall. He was pretty good. Trying to see, man. Um, trying to see, man. Mike Davis. I don't know why I remember that name a little bit. Remember that name. Super Bowl champion. That Hasselback, he got kids, huh? Yeah. So Don Hasselback. Okay. Rest in peace, Don, man. He just passed away this year, man. But the dad of Matt and Tim Hasselback. Matt was obviously one of the more underrated quarterbacks of the 2000s. Really good, and Tim was okay. Tim wasn't the quarterback Matt would become, but Tim played and he was all right. He was all right, but he didn't do what Matt did. But to even get some clock in the NFL counts. Even if it's on the 2003 Redskins, which weren't good under Spurrier. But you get some clock, and that's cool, man. And he got some clock all the way into 2007. So it counts, man. But shout out to Don Hasselback, man. Yeah, for real. Shout out to him. Charlie Hanna. Is that oh, that's John Hanna's brother. Okay, cool. Cool. That's what's up. All right, so he got drafted too. Let's see, man. Let's see. The other names, man. Jimmy Dean. No, that's not the same. That's not the meat guy, bro. That's not. I'm not even gonna do it. Vince Ferragamo. Man, he was with the Rams for a little bit. Um, yeah, got them to the playoffs in '83. So yeah, I'm gonna figure that name for a minute. Let's see. St. Cliff Stout. He got some playing time. Vince Evans got some playing time. Played with the USFL. Um, he got caught in that Ponzi scheme. That's what it was, a Ponzi. Yeah, but Vince Evans got caught in that Ponzi scheme of the USFL, man. But um, that's it. Joe Klecko, yeah. Dan Klecko, yeah. He played. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champ. I remember that he played with New England for a little bit. So Dan Klecko is Joe Klecko's son, and Joe Klecko played with the Jets. So I'm pretty sure games were also fun to watch there because the Jets and Patriots have always been rivals. But Joe Klecko is a Hall of Famer, man. He's a gold jacket member. So that's pretty good, man. So it was always gonna be tough to it's always gonna be tough, but to outpace that. But you make it, we could talk. So that's pretty good. Let's see anybody else on here, man. So let's see. Let's go all the way back. Let's see anybody else on here, man. Let's see. It'd be the first and only time I do that, man. Go all the way back like that. So how many rounds was it? 13? Al Hunter. So he was in a supplemental draft. First overall, 4th round. Yeah, see, I don't need it. All the help they can get. Need all the help they can get, man. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool, man. So, but that's 1970 for you, man. That's 1977 for you, man. Cowboys win it all. Um, Walter Payton's MVP. The Broncos have one of their best seasons that they're gonna have for a little bit until they pick up number 7 in the 80s. So yeah, the Cowboys and Steelers are on a collision course. They're one of the 2 best teams, right? As I mentioned earlier, they got 2 Super Bowls. The Dolphins have 2 Super Bowls, and the Steelers have 2 Super Bowls at this point. So something's got to give. Somebody's got to be the team of the 70s, and I think the next Super Bowl we're gonna solve that. So I want y'all to be with me as I continue my time machine, man. So continue to hop in with me, and we're going to continue to keep this going, man. So I appreciate all of y'all, man, for keeping this content going. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the next video, man. So as we tackle 1978. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.